Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Office 365 Pulse with your weekly updates. We've got Tamara, Tom, and Jennifer here today. Happy to share the updates with you.
Been a while since we've done this.
I know, since we've all been together too. So it's great to be back. Adam has got electrical work going on at his house today, so he is not going to join us for the fear of the electricity going on and off, but he should be back next week. Tom, since I was teasing you before we started, I'm going to go ahead and let you go first, my friend.
Oh, too funny. Yes, I was taking some heat from the ladies here. So a couple that are semi-related that I will mention up front. So in Microsoft Teams, there is going to be shared templates between Teams and SharePoint. And if this is the one I'm thinking it is, what you're going to be able to do is create templates that actually work on both giving you Teams information as well as formatting the SharePoint site in the back end. So you'll be able to take care of both of those in a template if you so choose to create your own templates for that. There's another template one that we also have out there, which is SharePoint section templates for SharePoint pages. So basically, the new sections that you have, instead of having to do like a template for the entire page, you're going to be able to have sections that you have templatized. And then you can either say, I want to just pull in a blank template for this section, which is the normal thing you have right now, or you can select a blank template that you've added images and text combinations and things like that that give you a nice quick head start on your page creation. So I think that's going to be really nice. I know that I use a page template when I create my Spark 1 tips, which is the internal version of the 1 Minute Office Magic that I do. I need to take a look and see if I need to figure out, do I need to add a few templates for sections that I create? So I think that'll be really nice for people who do a lot of news creation, page creation, stuff like that.
Very cool. I'm going to do one that I think is probably something that people in this scenario have been waiting for if they're in this scenario. And remember, this is in development, which means they're working on making it. So this is for Citrix on virtual desktop infrastructure and VMware on virtual desktop development. So if you're doing VDI for VMware or Citrix, you're probably waiting for this feature, but this is going to be Microsoft Teams, and it is the ability to give and take control of a presentation. So that would be like if I'm in a meeting and I'm presenting and I want someone else to take control and to help me keep presenting or do something on my screen or something like that, that ability to give and take control, that's something that we do a lot in meetings, or you could do a lot in meetings. But if you're running in that VDI environment, you're probably waiting for that feature if it's a feature that you use. So those are in development right now. So that could be something that if you're watching the show or if it's a feature you're waiting for, your ears might perk up when you hear that one. So those two are in development. It's saying a March and April timeframe for those releases. So that's actually coming up pretty soon. So I would keep an eye out for those this spring. But I thought those were interesting to see those out there. How about you, Tamara?
Microsoft Viva has gotten some love. So shared focus plan in Viva Insights. The shared focus plan enables managers and team leads to foster mutual productivity norms and drive a positive team culture by inviting teams to book focus time for uninterrupted work. One of the nice things about this focus times is it also keeps, I believe this is how it works. It also keeps the little pop-ups from Outlook and from Teams to show up and distract you from what you're doing. And then that is in the worldwide tenant. And then the other thing is Manager Insights and Microsoft Viva Insights app, Outlook and Office.com for GCC. So this is to empower managers to foster productivity and well-being for teams, large or small, with new insights and tools that are being introduced in the My Team tab of the Microsoft Viva Insight apps in Teams for GCC, as well as in manager cards in the daily briefing and monthly digest emails from Microsoft Viva. So these will help managers explore and improve their personal habits and team culture. Further, a new Viva Insights team homepage will be discoverable in office.com. Now, that's not coming until June 2023.
Wow.
So this is way out there.
Way out there.
That within
Yeah, I wonder if it's a typo.
I'm predicting that within a month, this will be in the canceled category, and it will say it is divided into the following different items in the roadmap.
Yeah, because they've already got that functionality rolled out generally. So I'm not really sure why it would take you like a year and a half to get it out for GCC.
Because that's a lot of things that have to get approved, Tom.
Well, yeah, there's the approval, but it's not like you're having to build it from scratch. So anyway.
And then the last thing that I wanted to bring up is Microsoft Teams pinned apps for frontline workers.
This one is cool.
So this is if you have an F license. So Microsoft is providing a tailored experience for frontline workers and teams. And with this feature, frontline worker apps such as tasks, shifts, walkie-talkie, and approvals are pinned out of the box. So organizations can further configure the apps pinned, but this feature provides a foundation for a team environment purpose-built for frontline workers. And that's coming out February of 2022.
That'll be really nice.
And that's all I have.
I don't have anything more to add to the in development side. So if you don't have anything, Jen, let's head on to rolling out.
Yeah, I think we're good. Go ahead, Tom. Take us into rolling out.
Okay, didn't expect that to happen, but hey, here we go. So 3 of the ones that I have sitting up, well, I'm not going to do all 3 because there's not that many of them. So I'll go ahead and take the SharePoint ones for SharePoint improvements to the authoring experience on the SharePoint pages. So they're going to be adding detail or adding labels to each content area. They'll reduce clutter by consolidating the web part toolbars into a bigger area where they're grouped together in a logical fashion. And also probably the one that's going to be the biggest difference for people, and that is when you're editing the page, it's going to place the author into focus mode, which means it's going to get rid of a lot of the peripheral stuff, a lot of the header things, and let you really focus on the content that you're creating in the middle of your page, top of the page, bottom of the page, whatever, without having to sort of pay attention to everything else, which really isn't relevant to the page you're creating. So I think that'll be a really good change. That is rolling out, has a December date on it. So I'm guessing pretty soon it should be showing up in your tenant. So if you go to edit a page and it looks different, this is the one. And then SharePoint improvements to the text web part toolbar for SharePoint pages and views. Basically what they've done, and this has hit our tenant, instead of having like 5 or 6 or 8 different icons, which is bold and italicized and a couple of those things, now it like stretches across the entire web part, and it's got the bullets. I think it had bullets before, but it's got strike through and all the other things that you would normally do with text. So you don't have to go find it somewhere else and figure out, oh, do I use this for the menu bar? Do I get this little taskbar there? Everything for simple editing is going to be on that text toolbar for you. So that makes it a lot nicer. Yeah, you've got a lot more ability to get your text formatted the way you want it without having to go to all different parts of the page to try to find what you're working with. So that's a good one. You probably are getting really close to having it in your tenant.
Yeah, one you missed is Microsoft Editor, spell check grammar, and SharePoint pages. So instead of needing an add-on, the feature is going to help you do editing on the pages directly. So the Microsoft Editor services to SharePoint pages. So spell check and grammar, proofreading without relying on an extension, And it's also going to suggest colors to monochrome when they're shown on a theme background. So for visibility, it's going to make it easy. It's going to be clear to see when you've misspelled something, which is great, says Jennifer, who misspells everything.
Yeah,
I'll tell you,
gonna be a
I'll
big
type
thing.
stuff and Microsoft spell check comes back with, I've got 133 language packs and I still don't know what you're trying to type.
It's because we're so excited and talk so fast, Tamara.
There you go.
Exactly.
Kindred spirits.
Exactly.
Gotta be the red hair.
It is.
All right, Tamara, what do you see here that you like in rolling out?
Well, there are a couple things that I like. Microsoft Teams introducing background effects on the web. So now when you join a meeting using the browser, you'll be able to blur your background, and you'll also be able to just add any of those canned backgrounds or your own background that you've created and uploaded. Now, one thing that Microsoft points out is it might not prevent sensitive information from being visible to other people in the call or meeting. I don't know if you've noticed this when people are using like the blur feature or a background picture, is you get a little aura around you where you actually see your real life background. So just be aware, blurring it or putting in a background image does not necessarily negate everything that's behind you. So that's something to be aware of. And then I got a little freaked out because Microsoft Teams for Education Career Coach connection messages. So students can now select a message to include their LinkedIn connection invitation to school alumni. So Teams is becoming even more interwoven with LinkedIn. I know right now when you go to the contact card, it does have a link to your LinkedIn profile if you've put it in there. So that I found very interesting. And then content types are not dead. SharePoint syntax content type to advanced metadata search. So you'll be able to use a content type classification to find files using the advanced metadata search.
Nice.
So those are the ones that got me really excited. Jen, what's up in your area?
Nothing super great left, but we'll say OneDrive, I can limit my OneDrive access and sharing to specific users. Woohoo! I know it's hard to follow. It's hard to follow with the things you guys have done. I think that's really the last one in rolling out. So we can go to launch now. And even though I've done it before and I've regretted it, I'm going to go ahead and let Tom start with launched.
So I will just start with a couple, and then I may play Adam here since he's not on our call and do a geeky flyby on a few things. However, for SharePoint, there's been a couple things that seemingly have been out there forever, and I'm kind of surprised that they're now showing up in launched. But in Microsoft List, column setting in grid view. So it used to be when you're in grid view or quick edit, you couldn't do a lot of things. You had to like go out of grid edit to accomplish tasks like pinning the column to the filter pane, formatting the column, show hide columns, hide the columns, stuff like that. Now you're going to be able to do it within grid view, which is nice because I used to be grid view was like, well, in special occasions, I'll use grid view. Those special occasions are becoming more and more frequent now because it's just easier to be able to add the data in the view level, just type it all in, go to the next line, boom, it's saved. You don't have to mess with the form. So I think that's good. You should be seeing that now because it is in a launch status. And the other thing, which makes me wonder why this wasn't there originally, but when list owners and members leverage the number column, they can now choose if the comma should appear or not. Like, why not? Yeah, it seemed like that choice should have been there, or there always should have been commas or periods, depending on, which country you're in. But yeah, now you can do that. Yay.
And on top of that, Tom, a lot of people want a year column. And you want
Yes.
to be able to sort it as if it is a number, or to do calculations like how many years is it between this year and that year. So it has to be a number column. And I actually got in a fight with somebody, not like a knockdown, drag out fight, but an animated conversation. And they're like, this says it's 2021. And I'm like, well, it is 2021, but there's a comma. And I'm like, but it's still 2021. I mean, it's still the year, but there's a comma. And
Yeah.
they just couldn't get over the comma.
Which that's a case that's definitely understandable. I'm not sure I'd want to try to explain to somebody, yes, that's a date, ignore the comma, because people will get hung up on that. So
They will. They will,
get
those
that one.
OCD people.
So I will let my list go from here. Actually, I think that's most of everything I was going to talk about, unless I do Adam's geeky stuff. So go ahead, the two of you.
Jen, why don't you go next so I don't steal all your thunder?
Well, that's okay. I don't have much thunder today. I'm a little thundered out. But we do have the Microsoft Stream preview of IT admin-led migration from Microsoft Stream Classic to the new Microsoft Stream. So this is the early preview of the ability to migrate videos from Microsoft Stream Classic to the new Stream, which is where you specify the target location of your videos, which is a team site, community site, or file store. So this is the new modern Stream. I'm sure they're not calling it the modern Stream, but the new that is coming. And so it's coming out in early preview now. So you should be looking at it. You should be seeing what's going on. You should be perking up your ears and listening a little bit. But that's out now. So you should be, looking into that and going, So yes, there you go. That's one.
This is my 2022 migration effort.
You might get lucky. It might go into 2023.
I hope so.
My question is now that they're calling it modern SharePoint, when they make another big change, what are they going to call it? Really modern SharePoint?
We might go back to retro.
Retro.
Or neo SharePoint, neo-modernistic.
Vintage. Art Nouveau. Everything's got curves.
Yeah, I like that. Nouveau SharePoint.
Nouveau. Now we're going to France. All right. So one thing I'm excited about is Dictation in Word for the web, now available in GCC and GCC High tenants. So people can, this is a great tool, not necessarily to use when you are trying to compose a document. There's a lot that goes into typing a document that I think is real helpful in the generation of a document. But I find this diction thing really useful for brainstorming. So you can actually, when you're going back and forth with somebody and you say something perfectly, and they're like, oh, say that again so I can write it down.
And you're like, I can't.
Nope, it's out of my brain. So that's what I like to use the diction for. So I'm excited to see it in GCC and GCC High. And then one that I think that has launched that really didn't need to happen was Microsoft Forms, improved Forms mobile experience for form creation and analysis. Seriously, if you are going to create a form on your cell phone, that's just crazy.
No, but the other half of it, analyze results from mobile.
That's cool.
So, because there's often times where I'm like, all right, I want to look at my results and I'm on my phone. That needs to make sense.
Yeah.
I'm not often creating a form, although sometimes I could. If it's a simple form, I could. But analyzing the results, yeah, I'm on the go. I'm on my way to the airport. I want to see what people said. But analyzing, yes, all day long. You always want to look at data from your mobile phone.
Right.
Ooh, speaking of mobile phones.
Yes.
Outlook for iOS. In this release, booking a workspace and new messages and new events when you press and hold. So you've got that press and hold feature when you're in Outlook. Are you guys iOS users?
Yes, I am. She's not.
You know, when you like press and hold and then new things come up and you can have more actions. There's more actions in Outlook now. So when you press something and hold it and more things can come up, you can now do more inside of Outlook. So press and hold on things inside of your Outlook messages and you're going to get more options. So
Cool.
that one's exciting. So new messages, new events and stuff like that inside of messages. So it's always good. Just always press and hold inside of iOS and you'll see what options you get.
Nice. It's kind of like having those Easter eggs
Pretty
There you
much.
go.
in your iOS. One other thing that I wanted to point out is SharePoint is getting some new templates. And when I first read this, it said SharePoint, new vertical site templates. And I'm
you
like,
thought you meant.
yeah, that's going to be a lot of scrolling is what I thought it meant. And what it meant was areas of business. So
Verticals.
nonprofit, volunteer center, retail management, store collaboration, and healthcare hospital collaboration are new templates that have launched and should be in your tenant now. But I thought that was funny. New vertical site templates. You're just going to scroll.
Too funny.
That's all I have for launch.
Well, I'm going to pretend I'm no, I can't even get the beard to come out like Adam. So I'm going to just pretend I'm Adam here. There are a number of things for the Compliance Center. There are also things for Microsoft Edge version 92 through 97.
Yeah.
Definitely look at the
Edge has
list that Jen sends out if that's of interest to you, because no, not going to do it. Don't have the time. But for Compliance Center, some of the ones that they have out here are new named entity SITs and enhanced unified policy authoring templates, some public preview. So your SITs are sensitive information types that can't easily be identified by regular expression or function. So these are like names, physical addresses, medical terms, conditions. There's like 52 new SITs coming out for named entities, 10 enhanced policy templates that can be used in various things. Again, if you're looking for that, definitely, and a lot of these cover things like HIPAA and GDPR. So you might want to take a look at those if those are of interest to you. We also had triage and investigation improvements. So enhancements including historical insights for Exchange Online, ingesting trigger events into Activity Explorer, risk management. Those are some of the new things that are now in launch. So you should be seeing that in your Compliance Center. More insider risk management, policy customization enhancements, exfiltration. I love that word. Exfiltration signals from Mac OS. So if people are downloading stuff to take off with them because they're getting ready to leave, you're going to have better signaling from Mac machines to say, hey, is that something we need to be concerned about? And somebody's getting ready to bail on us. More Compliance Center, built-in filters and Activity Explorer. So you've got some of those things coming up. And I think it's almost it. Inside risk management, guided onboarding experience, recommended actions. So that's good for new people that you're setting up, being able to set up policies, things like that. Communications compliance tagging improvement for government cloud. So nice stuff going on in the government cloud there to give you better compliance. And is that it? Yes, that's it. Well, there's one at the very end. Power BI sensitivity label data in Activity Explorer for DoD. So if you're doing DoD and you want to be able to do Power BI, you can do sensitivity label activity data, send into Activity Explorer for admins to search and review along with the rest of the MIP, AIP, MOUSE acronyms out there. You're going to have all of those out there. So take a look at that if you are interested. Again, there's more information if you look at the list that Jen sends out as part of her weekly email. I went over real quickly because that's not a world I live in.
Awesome. And then finally, guys, the canceled is irrelevant this week because every one of them is canceled because they're duplicates. So you've got one about Edge with control flow enforcement technology. It's a duplicate. Yammer cross-geo external collaboration on external networks for the EU. I think that was a buzzword bingo. That because it's duplicate. And
I have synergy for 500.
Ding, 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 ding. What is buzzword?
creating a task message in Microsoft Teams for GCC, just a duplicate. So somebody was cleaning up duplicates this week and they got rid of these. So nothing to see here, folks, nothing to see. So we are good this week on canceled. So, occasionally they'll, flip in a whole project like, SharePoint designer is dead. But, that's, occasionally one of those goes in there. The rest of the time it's like, oh, it's a duplicate.
That still causes shivers up my spine when you said, Tom, are you sitting down? I'm like, I'm not going to like this, am I? And you're like, nope, you're not. Oh, that was bad. That was so bad.
Well, great. I think that wraps up the roadmap.
I think
Yeah.
it does.
Well, we'll see everybody next week.
Bye now.
Bye, everyone.